Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the SW6 Cast. It's been a while. My name is Nippon. I am joined by my co-host, Matt, and this is, I don't know how many episodes it's been, and this is another episode of the SW6 Cast, where we discuss all things Chelsea. Matt, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've got a new trim, so that's always good to feel a bit refreshed. Chelsea are winning again in very cold temperatures, and it's interesting that a game, even though you're in India, you're closer to a Chelsea game than I am, which is crazy in a European competition. But there you go.
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on the game?
My thoughts were it looked bloody cold. That was the first thing I thought when I saw pictures of it. One of my friends, Rich, is at the game, which credit to him and whoever has gone out there. I understand Chelsea have given out little key rings celebrating the moment and as a thank you for fans going there. So that's a classy move by the club. But yeah, it was good to see some of the young guys get some game time. Obviously, we can't take much from kind of the senior players' performances because obviously it's such a distinct difference of level of opponent. So it doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. But we got the win, we got the result. And it was a decent enough performance. I think second half we dropped off, but if I was playing in -11, I think I'd drop off by that point.
Yeah, but were you worried at any point that we were going to let a team that's literally closer to India than it is to the UK get back into the game? Were you scared at any point?
No, I thought before the game it'll be interesting to see how these luxury woke players, as some people would like to call them, millennials, will deal with up -11 temperatures. But apart from that, in a joke side, I had no issues at all. I mean, the first half, we were dominant. Astana really had nothing apart from one or two chances. And then when they scored their goal, it was just a very good goal. Fantastic shot out of nothing. Nothing the goalkeeper could do, especially considering he's been standing at -11. So at that point, I'd expect him to be completely frozen by that point. So him moving at all would have been a good achievement to go and save that. But yeah, they didn't really do much. We can kind of controlled it in the second half. Took some of our senior players off to get a rest, so I wasn't worried at all. Even our youth players have got enough to beat Astana, and Astana really didn't do much at all.
Yeah. So are you still? So yeah, we sit at top of the league, top of the Conference League, second in the Premier League. Who would have thought? With a Championship manager, according to a lot of our fan base.
Bobby Fairview.
Yeah, he's one of them. Yeah, he's gone awfully quiet, hasn't he?
Yeah, typical.
Yeah.
But as you were saying before.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought? Like, I didn't think that. Like, when we signed Enzo, I've said, yeah, another season of Conference League next season. But I'm glad he's made me swallow my words.
Well, I mean, I didn't rate Enzo, but I still thought this side had the ability to get to top 5, top 4.
So, who was your first choice pick? or to replace Pochettino?
My first choice, my first choice pick was not to get rid of Pochettino personally.
But do you not think Pochettino had a bit of that loser mindset? Think about it. He was saying, "We are mid-table now. It's time to accept that."
Would you then say, to throw that on a different standpoint? Would you therefore say that Maresca saying we're not in a title race and we shouldn't be in a title race? Wouldn't you say that's a losing mentality at the same time? Because it's the same sort of words, just at a different level.
But there's a difference. We're not a mid-table side, but we aren't title contenders either.
I mean, we weren't a mid-table side last time.
So then that's Pochettino just being a massive troll and insulting our intelligence as a fan base.
No, it's just that we need to be intelligent enough to not believe everything a manager says, because there will be reasons why managers will say certain things, and it will be to either deflect, to protect players. They'll say things to protect players. They'll say things to take pressure off clubs. That's why Maresca's saying that we're not in the title race, because he doesn't want to put extra pressure onto the players. It's why Pochettino was not putting too much emphasis on thingy. The only reason why Pochettino was getting that loser mentality potentially was because of his time at Tottenham. But if in that case, then you've had Conte and Mourinho that were also losers.
There's a difference. They were both at Chelsea first,
and was also a loser at Tottenham. But they're not loser mentality. And I think Nuno de Espirito Santo. He was a loser mentality at Spurs. Pochettino wasn't. Pochettino took Tottenham as far as Tottenham. I said to it the other day. Tottenham are nothing more than a 6th, 7th place team. So the fact that Pochettino got them to a Champions League final is way above anything Tottenham fans could ever dream of. For Tottenham, that is us winning the Champions League. That is us winning the Champions League, Club World Cup, everything in a season.
If you give Pochettino that Chelsea team the same season that he got Tottenham to a Champions League final, and you put Chelsea in that Champions League final, do you think he wins it? If it's Chelsea in the final instead of Tottenham?
Most likely, yeah.
Do you think if we got Pochettino from Southampton instead of Spurs, now here's a bit of an alternate thing. Do you think he wins trophies with us? Pochettino from Southampton.
I mean, he was,
or not really.
He might have. I mean, what year was Pochettino actually at Tottenham? Like when did he go to Tottenham?
I think he joined in 2014.
I just don't think that would have happened because we had Mourinho, so he would have never have come. So it's quite a weird, not weird, but I think the Chelsea team we had. You're thinking of Mata, Hazard, Oscar, all them sort of players, Schürrle, Willian. I think definitely Pochettino would have got so much out of them. I mean, let's be honest about this. I mean, Maresca's done very well, and this is not me saying this now is not taking anything away from Maresca. But I think Pochettino would have got that team last season, without the additions of this summer, into the top 4 if we didn't have as many injuries as we did. We've got to remember how many injuries we had last season. And yes, that might be partially down to Poch's training. It could be, because the injuries have dropped off massively off a cliff. But I also think that's the medical team doing a better job as well. But we have nowhere near the amount of injuries we did last summer. If Maresca had the injuries we had last season, Maresca would be in the same position. I saw at the injury table for this season. We only have had 8 injuries, which puts us 17th in the injury table. Like that, we were miles ahead of everyone else apart from United last year in terms of injuries. I think we got like something ridiculous, like 50 something injuries, separate injuries. So I'm fully in the agreement that we would have been in that Tottenham Aston Villa fold. Potentially would have got Champions League. Might have just finished outside and got Europa like Tottenham did.
Check that tweet. I sent a screenshot of a tweet to you on your Twitter DMs. Just shows that how certain fan bases, I'm not calling out names, certain fan bases have the IQ of a 5-year-old, and that's an insult to 5-year-olds. Do you see that?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, as I was saying,
it's literally someone who rates Marcus Rashford, and he'd have him at his club.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Rashford is a purple patch player, and that's me being nice.
I don't want a purple patch player though. I want
I want a player that plays consistently. I want a player that doesn't throw managers under the bus. Is he
the type of player that can get a manager sacked?
Well, I'm just going to say that historically, the Man United team seems to down tools on managers. Now, they have had rebuilds, unlike what people think. And if you look back from the moment, Van Gaal, I guess, because I don't think Rashford was so much in it when Moyes was there. If you look at from Van Gaal onwards, the players that remain from that period, Rashford's the only one left. So one of the only ones left. So
wait, didn't Dalot join during the Van Gaal period?
All right, you've got Rashford, you've got Dalot, you've got a couple of you've got a very minimal amount of people. Now, there was a problem with leaks with the British press. Now, I don't want you accusing me of certain things, but I don't think Dalot has a relationship with the English media like an English player would. That English player, you can narrow down to Rashford, potentially McTominay, Maguire, but Maguire wasn't even there for full of it. So, and you distinctly see Rashford gets better. Normally, Rashford gets better when a new manager comes in, and then he drops again. Gets better when a new manager comes in and drops again. I might be reading too much.
Would you say Son is a purple patch player?
No, Son has been a consistent. Son goes in and out. He'll have times when he's not that great, but the periods that he is good is a lot more. And I think if he was in a team that wasn't Spurs, I think you'd see him be a lot more consistent. Because I think when you are carrying a team and you're extending more energy and you're probably playing different because you're that main man, you're gonna go through periods of inconsistency because of that, because you're just gonna get overworked. Once you relied on too much, once you drop off, there's a massive drop off in the team.
Do you not think he was carried by Harry Kane?
No, I think them two had a very good partnership. Of course, now Son doesn't have that partner with him because obviously Son, for me, like in Nkunku, he's a second striker. I don't think Son is good enough to play out front on his own in the Premier League, and I think he's to a point a little bit limited on directly out on the wing. So naturally, I think he does need a striker partner. Now going from Harry Kane to bloody Richarlison and now Dominic Solanke, which is a little bit better, you could understand that there's going to be a drop off from Son's part, not because he relied on Harry Kane, but just because he relies on a striker, which Richarlison
he's not familiar with.
I mean, not even familiar. Richarlison's a donkey. I mean, you put any human in next to Son, he probably would have played better. But
Richarlison blocked me on Twitter. once.
What did you do? What did you do to Richarlison?
I said that there's no need to get so emotional. Quote tweet.
Wow, that just sums up the person. If he's getting offended that easily over your tweet, I'm not. This is not me being rude, but you're quite irrelevant in the sense of the footballing world. You're just a random person on Twitter for him. If he's getting offended by that, then my lord,
he's getting offended by someone. Getting offended by literally someone who doesn't even have 1,000 YouTube subscribers.
No.
I can't believe I rattled someone that badly. But then after but then again he blocked me afterwards. So he was just doing it for trying to get a reaction out of me, basically.
Well, it's Richarlison. As I said, he's a donkey. So I don't think animals should really have social media accounts. But there you go.
You know, who would you say is more likely to get a manager sacked? Rashford or Garnacho?
They're probably both just as bad as each other. Obviously, Rashford's probably had more experience of it, so I'd probably say Rashford in that sense. But they're probably both just as bad as each other.
Do you think any of our players could potentially get Enzo Maresca sacked? Or do you think none of them will turn on him?
Of course, I think any player has the potential to do it. But do I see it from this group of players? Maybe one or two. I'm not going to name names because...
Put it in the private chat.
All right. I'm not going to name names publicly because I just don't think that is for us as a fan base. I don't think it's particularly useful.
Do you think our fans booing players? Do you think our fans booing players affects their performances?
Well, these are younger players, so they're naturally going to feel they're naturally going to be affected by more stuff like that.
Look, I only boo the experienced players.
I mean, I just don't boo. I don't boo during the game at all. At the end of the game, it's fine, but I never boo during the game. And I think it's stupid to boo during the game.
But then people have this argument that we paid so much money to see them play. We can do whatever we want.
Yes, but why would you do something that's just going to make the game worse? You want to see your team win, so why booing during the game? What is your actual objective in that apart from just being an idiot? An idiot, like you boo after the game when it means a bit more. If you want to make a statement, but don't boo it during the game because that just shows you're giving up. Like
That's a good point.
You fight to the end. So you cheer the team on until the end. You don't boo. And this I get really weird with it. I've pissed off enough people by having this debate. I've sent you one name because I can't figure out what my other name would be. I feel like there's one more, but I don't know at the moment.
Where did you send it to me?
Twitter. I'm just going through the players now.
He does have an ego the size of Texas.
That is predominantly the reason. He's got an ego, and I feel that he's someone that would be quite stroppy and have tantrums. Now, I don't want to say another player because one, he's technically on loan, and two, this is based off him at a former club, and you probably know who
Yeah,
I
I
mean.
know.
You know
Yeah,
exactly. Everyone can know what I mean, who I mean. I'm not going to judge that, but naturally, coming from Man United, which is a team that has constantly sacked managers, you have the potential to do it. But I'm not. I'm going to trust that this player is happy here.
It's more to do with the fact that Erik ten Hag was a massive "see you next Tuesday" to him. But then to a point, people will say the manager's always right.
There is one that I feel like I don't think he'd unjustifiably throw a manager under the bus. But I think if he genuinely was treated in a horrible way, I think he's a player that likes to make his opinion known on social media. You might be able to get, don't say the player's name, but you might be able to guess from that who it is. But yeah,
is it him?
Yeah, but that's I don't mean. I categorize that differently because I think you'd have to really piss him off in a genuine way for him to then decide to do it. Because I think you saw him publicly back a manager, so I feel like he could also at one point you piss him off enough, he'll publicly not back a manager. But at least I think that player would do it in the open sources, which is risky but fair enough. It's almost like
do you think Enzo would be one of those managers who would call out a player in public, or are those type of managers gone?
I feel like he already has called out players in public. I mean,
so
I think if you're phrasing it in the way of someone that is going to stay, that he's going to call them out for a performance, depends on who the player is. I think Enzo almost has that vibe of, and you're gonna be shocked when I say the name, and I'm not directly saying everything is related to this guy, but he almost has the Sir Alex vibe of he can tell what player you need to put your hand around the shoulder and what player you can politely say they need to improve and what player you can physically just slag off. Because obviously different players react to different things. I think it's a very decent skill.
It's also to do with an age group. Like the younger players will need the arm around the shoulder.
Yeah, that's why I think in this sense, where majority of our players are young, I don't feel like these players are gonna have this done. I feel like they'll have the arm around the shoulder. I feel like if we're gonna, I can name an example. I think Reece James is someone that I think Maresca kind of partially called out, saying that he expects more, and I think Reece is sensitive in some ways. I think that's how Reece thrives a little bit, is being under pressure and that sort of stuff. Obviously, I think Reece, it's not his problem is injuries, not actual performances, which is I think ultimately going to be his downfall at Chelsea, and I'm convinced that will be his downfall because it's no surprise that Josh Achepon's contract seems to be nearly in agreement, and that's happened since Reece James last got his injury. No coincidence there.
But do you not think we will? Are you not scared that we might run him into the ground as well, like we did with Reece James? Yeah.
No, because I think we have Gusto, we have Josh, and at the moment we have Disasi who can play right back. Caicedo can play right back. We have options to play at right back, so I don't think
Why are we playing him as a right back though? Because
Why are we playing who as a right back?
Caicedo, when he's naturally a defensive midfielder.
Because as a right back, he's going to be that guy that inverts, and obviously because he's a midfielder, he will naturally invert because it's in his position to do so. So it's more of a tactical type of thing, and it's also to allow Enzo and Lavia to still play. It's also to be a bit more. It's more tactics than anything, and it's not going to be used every single game. This is going to be something you get in specific games, or if at the moment Gusto has come back from injuries, Reece James has had an injury, and we ain't got many options. Obviously, it's going to be used, but I think primarily, I probably think from now on we're going to have Gusto at right back, and then we're going to have one of Josh Sassy or Caicedo as a backup, depending on the game. I do hope now, if as soon as his contract gets agreed, Josh can have more game time, because I think Josh was in the game today. He was pretty good. I think Mark Gui was pretty good, and I think in January, I think he needs to go out on loan somewhere, along with David Washington. Obviously, the problem is finding places for these players. But I think for someone like Washington, I already have the club in mind where I would send him if possible. And that's partially because I know they've got a striker that's doing well at the moment that is going to go back to their parent club, so they have an option. They have a slot open.
Go on, tell us. You're not naming names now.
Stockport County. They're doing very well. They're doing very well in League One. And they've got currently the striker from Villa, Louis Barry. He's smashing it there, and apparently Villa want to recall him so they can send him to a Championship club, because obviously they think League One's too low a level for him now. But I think for David Washington, who's not played any men's football in Europe, I think that would be a good level for him to go. Mark Gee, I think maybe if you can find a lower Championship club, maybe a Hull City or someone like that, but Hull are a bit of a horrible time, so whether you want to send it to him or not. But I'm sure there's clubs in England that will get these players. Obviously, we can't really send them abroad because we've got the international loans. But yeah, Josh, I think Josh played really well. Will probably stay with us. I like the centre midfielder.
I've just noticed something about. Just noticed that Stockport County have this person as a fan.
Who?
I'll send you a screenshot of it.
Okay, but I'll carry on anyway. So I think the midfielder Rax Saku or whatever, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he looked a pretty good player today. Obviously Renato Vega, I think, done very well for his goal. If you could say anyone was at fault for the Astana goal, it was probably him. But I don't take much into that. Obviously, I think Renato Vega will stay.
Now you see what really pissed me off. That's. Did you see it?
Yeah. Well, we've got dickhead fans as well, so let's not play it into that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think obviously there's players that played today. I think Chukwemeka, I think he'll go away on a permanent, I think, in January, which is unfortunate, but I don't think there's any space for him now. But yeah, it was good to see some of the younger players that haven't played. I think some of them probably made their debuts. I think obviously Josh has played before. I think Raksaki's also played before. But I think there was, what's his name? I'm just getting the lineup now. The guy that come on from Neto, Atu Ampar. I assume he's never played for Chelsea before. Obviously, Tyreek George, I think, played quite well.
What about that? What about that number 69 or 69 or 67?
67.
Like he got his debut when Pochettino was the manager in a cup game.
Gilchrist. What, the centre back? Gilchrist?
No.
Did this player play today? Because I don't see a 67.
I think. Oh, 69. No. Oh, trying to remember. He scored. He scored on, and he's a Chelsea fan. And when growing up,
The only player I can think of that played under Pochettino was Alfie Gilchrist.
hang on, I'll have to get it up. Players.
But yeah, while you search it up for me, I'll kind of go through the other players for people watching. I mean, Jorgensen, yeah. I mean, Jorgensen's my man of the match because just for the fact that he had to stand in that cold, I think that lasted 90 minutes was good enough for me. Disassi was okay. Adebayo okay. Josh played well. Dewsbury Hall played quite well in the midfield, but again, I think this is way below his level, so he should play well. Vega played well. Samuel Raxey, as I said, played well. Chukwuemeka was good, very unselfish. Neto bossed it, obviously come off a half time, which was good. Tyreek Jordan was okay. Gui was good. If I was to actually say a man of the match, he would be my man of the match. And then players coming off the bench, I think obviously Kano Dyer didn't really get much of time. Ampar was okay. I don't think nothing special at the moment. The striker, Mueki, didn't really see much. And Harvey Val is just Harvey Val. I think he'll probably go in January or the summer. I think his contract's up in the summer, so probably will leave. I was a bit surprised.
I was thinking of Bashir Humphreys.
Bashir Humphreys. I think he's going to go. He's gone, ain't he?
No, he's still on loan.
Yeah, but it's a loan with an obligation.
Is it?
I think it is. You can look it up, but I think it's an obligation. I think it's if Burnley go up, which they might not, so he could come back. But I think it's an obligation to buy. Because realistically, look how many defenders we have. Plus, you've got the guy from Boca Juniors that we signed, Ansel Limo. And then even with youth players, you've got Alfie Gilchrist sitting there.
Do you think he gets a chance when he comes back from Sheffield United?
I think he's played very well, to be fair. And interestingly, he's played at right back for Sheffield United. So that could be another right back option for us if we think Josh is good but not quite ready. And obviously, I think he'll be that he'll be that person that can sit back and then Cucurella can invert. I think he'll get an option at right back. Yes, at centre back, I don't know. Depends on what we want to do with that position. Because if people want,
it depends on if Wesley Fofana can stay fit.
It's not so much dependent on Wesley Fofana. It's dependent on if Chelsea fans, like Chelsea fans do, want to buy another centre back, then Gilchrist is not going to get a chance at that place because they've already got Fofana, Colwill, Badiashile, Disassi, Tosin, and Salimo, and then another player. Obviously, some of them will have to go anyway, just to make way for the new signing. But yeah, it just seems too full in that position. Right back, we have Gusto, we have James, who I think the club will try and move on because of injuries, because he's basically not here anyway. And then after that, you've just got him and Josh. So I think there's a pathway in that right back position.
The whole injury thing runs within the James family, because Lauren James is quite injury prone too.
Yes and no. I'd say yes, it does run in the family too. Lauren isn't necessarily injury prone. I think, well, she is to a point, but I think she does very well with keeping her injuries to a minimum. I think it's only this season where she's had a bit of a bigger calf problem. Otherwise, generally, she's quite okay with injuries. I think she normally in April she breaks down a little bit with some niggles, but I think she's far less injury prone. She had that big injury at Man United, but Chelsea really worked on her fitness with her, and I think she adapted quite well to it and has come out of it.
Why hasn't that same thing happened with Reece?
Well, one, because the women's medical department and the men's medical department are separate. Two, they're probably different. I think they're slightly different problems, even though it's the same genetics. Three, Reece James has his own people, as well as the Chelsea physios. Four, willingness. Five, trying to think of another reason. At the end of the day, even though they're genetically the same, they've got the same genetics, they are still different bodies. Men's and women's injuries are completely different, so you can't use the same thing on Lauren James to Reece and it to work. So I don't know.
Do you see Reece James becoming a manager since he's going to retire so young?
I don't think he'll necessarily retire so young.
Injuries will eat him alive, though. That's what everyone is saying.
Yes, but people said that about Christian Pulisic, and look what Pulisic is now. Not injuries, doing fine. I think he can't do it in the Premier League anymore. I think if you sent him to Real Madrid in La Liga, where it's less physical, and he's playing in a less physical, demanding position, I think you see him maybe not injury-free, but relatively fit most of the time. And that's not saying that, we've made a mistake letting him go. That's not saying that he never tried at Chelsea. I just think there's a massive difference in physicality in the leagues, and some players just can't handle it in certain leagues. I do still think he'll retire maybe earlier than some. And when I say earlier, I don't think you're going to see him do a Thiago Silva. I think you'll see him retire for early 30s, 33, 34 maybe. Do I think he'll become a manager coach? I don't see it in Reece James's personality to go that route.
Do you see him becoming a pundit? Potentially.
Maybe more likely than a manager. With Reece, I don't know. I mean, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Reece went down the route of what some other people are doing right now and buying football clubs. Because you're seeing a few players starting to buy own shares of football clubs and try and run lower league football clubs. So
Kante is one of them.
Kante's bought I think, is it? I don't know. It weren't Cannes. That was Mbappe that bought Cannes. Who did Kante buy? Some like third division French side, weren't it?
Yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold's got a stake in a club. I can't remember the club.
Does he not own a stake in Liverpool?
No, it's not Liverpool. It's a different. It's another club. There's a couple of other players that I think have also done it. So that would be something I wouldn't be surprised if Reece went into. Maybe either a local English side, or maybe he goes abroad and picks out a club. I mean, they've got enough money to do it with the amount of money they earn, especially for a smaller club that doesn't maybe cost as much as a Premier League club does.
Do you reckon he he doesn't buy a club, but he finds a club, like he creates a club from
it's not easy to really create a club. I think it's much easier to buy a stake in a club that's already formed. So I think that'd be more likely what Reece does. Maybe Reece just does nothing and just does whatever. Because these footballers don't necessarily have to do something. I don't see Reece as the type of guy to spunk all his money on stupid stuff.
Well, I didn't see Kante as the type of guy to spend money on stupid stuff.
Well, is he?
He's spending a lot of money. He's bought a football club, no?
Well, no, but that's not... I mean kind of like spending it on fancy cars and shit like that. Like Floyd Mayweather is like one of the most richest boxers, and has just absolutely wasted his fortune on just ridiculous stuff and going out partying, clubbing, doing just ridiculous stuff to lose money. That's what I mean. I don't mean just spending money on. I don't think spending money on. I think spending money on a football club, while it's maybe not the most profitable thing, I don't think it's stupid.
Do you think? So basically, Floyd Mayweather did a Ronaldinho.
I mean, there's a reason Mayweather jumped back in with Logan Paul, and it's not just because he wanted to. There's a reason Mike Tyson jumped in with Jake Paul again, because it's quite public that Mike Tyson has debt problems because he spent way too much money. But Mayweather's done, I think, doing exactly the same. I think that's why he had the Conor McGregor fight, and I think that's why he had the Logan Paul fight again. It was just too.
The Paul brothers are just a bunch of egomaniacs, in my opinion.
They are, but they also make people money. That's why. Money, as I said, he's Money Mayweather for a reason. He'd fight. Mayweather would fight a dustbin man if he was paid $100 million to do
it. What?
He has no shame. He has no shame. He has no sense of protecting his legacy.
It's just being a massive see you next Tuesday. I mean, why would you beat up a random?
But if he's getting $100 million, he doesn't care. I mean, I'm not saying that he actually will do this, because that is just me speculating. But I mean, you're fighting Logan Paul, who's not a boxer.
I would not abandon my. The only way I will is if someone does really something horrible to me. That's the only way I'm beating someone to a pulp.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to make comment on that on YouTube, but there you go.
Yeah. Okay. I take it back. Yeah. So, I just hope we bring back our full squad for the knockout stages of the Conference League.
I think we will. Predominantly.
Do you think?
I think they'll be registered. I don't think he'll play. I don't think players like Cole Palmer will play every game necessarily.
Surely they'll be.
Depends on the opponent. If you're playing, let's have a look at the Conference League table. Let's have a look at the top 8, the ones that will go through automatically. So you will probably find out. You probably play them at some point. Oh, no, it's Women's Champions League. I don't want that. Why are you not showing me what I want? There you go. So, for example, Jaglio something. If we're playing that team, or I guess Logano, we're not going to play Cole Palmer and that because we don't need to. If we're playing Fiorentina, then we'll play more of our stronger players, at least for the first leg. If we then smash the first leg, then we might choose to rest players.
Lugano.
Lugano, yes.
Yeah, that's a place in Switzerland.
Yes. They're currently 8th in there. I'm surprised, actually. There are actually some better, good teams that are not in the top 8. I mean, to be fair, the Champions League's thrown off. I like this new format that it's just throwing big teams out of the top 8. Like you've got Fiorentina are probably like the second favourites to Chelsea. They're third, but I would have expected FC Copenhagen. We were in the Champions League last year. I would expect them to be in the top 8. You've got teams like Molde, who are like a bit more seasoned European sides. You've got Real Betis that are sitting in 21st. You've got Istanbul. I don't know how to pronounce the second word, but they're sitting in 22nd. Like they had like players like Demba Ba, so they're a decent side, decent enough side.
What, Demba Ba? The same Demba Ba who we have that song about.
No, but they were playing in the Champions League 2 years ago. So I'm saying.
No, you just said Demba Ba.
Yeah, Demba Ba's good. I like Demba Ba.
Is he not retired?
Well, I'm not saying he's playing now. I'm saying he's played for them. Played as in past tense. But even like. Yeah,
I like him too.
Like there are teams that I actually think are in like the mid tables that like should be in the top 8, but they're not. Like I think, yeah, Legia Warsaw, Fiorentina, top 3 is like okay, fair enough. I'm surprised Ghent are not. I mean, I know Ghent lost to us for one game, so that's kind of a reason why they are there. Obviously, some of these teams. Well, actually, it's funny. Real Betis and Istanbul have played or are playing their 5th game now, so they should be higher. But it is interesting. I mean, if we look at the Champions League one, I mean, the fact that you've got currently PSG in the elimination section is just ridiculous. You've got Red Bull Leipzig in. Well, they're out. I think. I know. Yeah, they're out. They're already out. They're in the elimination stage. They haven't won a single game. Like that is ridiculous. That is redonkulous. You've got Man City, PSV nearly and Real Madrid on the cusps of potentially being knocked out. The mighty Club Brugge are above all of them clubs, although they do have to play Man City and Juventus next. So I don't hold hope for them in any of them games. But you've got Brest, the mighty Brest. Not going to make a Brest joke, but there you go. They're sitting in 7th. They are in 7th. They are automatically going through to the round of 16. Like that is just.
That's why I like the new.
It's ridiculous. I like it. Someone was moaning that I think it was Arsenal fans that moaning that they can't play Sport in Lisbon again. So who cares? Like you're playing 6 different teams. I like the fact that you play 6 different teams. I like the fact that you're not just automatically going through in the groups. I mean, I'll hate it next season when we're in the Champions League and probably not getting in the top 8 because that would be a typical Chelsea thing to do. We'll be like 9th or something and just miss out and have to play an extra 2 games. But even if let's have a look at the Europa League ones because I feel like that one's going to be ridiculous as well. I mean, you've got Nice currently nearly going out. Porto are in that section. Hoffenheim are in that section. Besiktas. All these are Champions League type of teams. And you've got...
Well, we have a few matches going on as we speak. So currently...
Yeah. To be fair, the Europa League one's a bit normal, apart from Man United sitting in 14th. But to be fair, with how they've played this season, I can understand that. But that is funny that in the Europa League, none of the top... None of the English
my
clubs.
God. Oh my God! Man United are losing to.
Hey, don't diss. They're playing against them. They're playing against the legend that is Matteo Vidra. He was a baller He was a baller for Watford when he was at Watford. I'm pretty sure he scored some fantastic goal against us once.
He is so. They are so hopeless. They play us, obviously, and they'll somehow find a way to shithouse a win.
Apparently, Onana. It was an Onana mistake.
Yeah.
Let's have a look, see if I can find this goal. I'm actually interested now. The fantastic player that is Onana. Everyone wanted us to sign. I'm watching the goal now.
It was a legendary tweet.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh dear!
Did he do a Carrius? Did he do a Carrius?
Oh dear! Oh dear! I can't show you technically on here, can I? Because you'll get a copyright strike. Oh dear! Oh! If you've got a live score, like no, what? Who's? Go on TNT. Go on football on TNT Sports. They've put it out 8 minutes ago. The goal. Honestly, that is dreadful. Wow. Do you know what's funny as well? Even in the Europa League, Mason Mount can't even start. Mind you, saying that, Man United have got their starting lineup out. This ain't even a rested lineup. The starting 11 is Onana, Martinez, De Ligt, Mazraoui,
and
Malacia Delo,
scored.
Casemiro. Now it's going to be Mason Mount now. I've said that. No, it's Højlund. Okay. But still, it's Victoria Pleasant. Who the fuck are they?
Well, I'll tell you who they are. They are a beer town.
Oh, I do like
beer. They're famous for their beers.
Oh, can we get these away? I want to go get some beer. Where is Victoria Pleasant?
It's in a city called Pilsen.
Yeah, but where?
The Czech Republic.
Oh, I do like Czech beer. Oh, actually, that's not too bad. Big up Victoria Pleasant. Just beat Man United, please. I assume you want Rangers to beat Tottenham tonight.
Up the Jers! Up the Jers!
Up the Jers? Is that what you call them? But yeah, big up to Rangers because former Club Brugge managers there. Philippe, come on, legend. Won Bruges 3 titles in a row.
Just so useless. Man United. They shouldn't be called Man United. They should be called Man Useless.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Useless.
Is there anything else you want to cover before we finish?
Well, we've covered the Astana game. We've proven the Enzo doubters wrong. I think just we have the next 5 games in the. Have we played all our Conference League games?
we've got Shamrock Rovers next week at home.
And that's the last one.
I'm gutted we can't go to Ireland. Honestly, like that was the one I was looking at. I was like, yes, go to Ireland. That would have been fantastic. Get the Guinnesses out. But there you go. It is what it is.
Yeah, and
I mean, I would have loved
and us
it to
being
be
English, we'll probably
at home and then Shamrock away. That would have been much better.
us being English, we would have probably been treated quite differently.
Oh, that's all right. I'll just put on an Irish accent. But yeah, our next 5. I think we've got them next week. So I think we got Brentford at the weekend. Oh yeah, because we got Brentford at 7 o'clock on a Sunday. Like, what the fuck is that all about? Honestly, ridiculous. Because I can't do my podcast because of that ridiculousness.
Are you gonna go to the game?
No, I'm at a Christmas party which starts at 7. If literally any other part of the day,
it'll be 7 for me as well because I'll be back in London by then.
No, so yeah,
I'll be at work.
I can't watch it. I can't watch it, and I can't do the podcast for it because I could at like 1 o'clock in the morning where I'd be absolutely sloshed, which would be hilarious, but no, we're not doing that. Yeah, so I think we've got Everton as well.
Just the following day.
Well, no, because it's much harder to get Jesters and Carlito on track because of the time zone difference. So we always try and Sunday night's like our typical. We'll do it Sunday night, get it out Monday morning, or sometimes late Sunday night, depending on what time we do it.
So our next 5 games are Chelsea versus Brentford, Brentford at home, Everton away, Fulham at home, Ipswich away.
Well, and the Shamrock game.
Yeah, and Shamrock at home.
So I think we beat Brentford at home, despite our record against them, because I think they're dreadful away at the moment. Really bad. I think we smash Shamrock into next year. They'll be celebrating 2025 once we're done with them. Everton, I think, will draw. Fulham, I think, will beat. And Ipswich, I think, will beat. Well, I hope we beat, because with my connection to Ipswich, I really do not want anything other than a win.
Fair enough. So
yeah, I think we go. I think we go unbeaten for the rest of the year. And I actually think I'm saying Everton will draw because I don't want to say we'll win like 8 games in a row, but. And I'm only if it was Everton at home, I would have probably said we'd win. If it's at Goodison Park, so I know we're not normally good there, and I can just look at it going. It's Sean Dyche, park the bus, low 19th century low block football. We're going to play what Sean Dyche would say is utter woke nonsense. So I feel like it's going to be like a 0-0 or 1-1 or something like that. But every other game, I think we'll win.
So I'm going to go for a different draw.
Comfortably.
I'm going to go for a different draw. I think we go unbeaten. I'm going to go the same as you. But I think we draw against Brentford and beat Everton.
I was going to say the draw against Brentford, but they're just terrible. If this was Brentford at Brentford, I'd probably say a draw. I'd probably actually say a loss, to be fair. I'd probably say we lose. I'd even go that far. But I just feel they're just not good. I know we can be a bit charity with teams that are doing poorly in certain times, but I don't know. I just feel we'll beat Brentford this time. I don't think it'll be the prettiest game, but I think we'll beat them. I think Shamrock will be just one of the most convincing games ever. Then Everton, I think it'll be a 0-0, 1-1. I think Fulham, will beat 3-0 on Boxing Day, personally. And Ipswich, I actually think that's going to be a lot closer than what people think. I think we'll score loads of goals, but I also think they'll score a few goals. I think if I was going to early predict it, and this is going to kill me, 3-2 Chelsea.
I'm going to one-up you.
And I'm gonna say that Ipswich score first and second.
I'm going to say Ipswich 3, Chelsea 4. And
I thought you was going to say 3-2 to Ipswich, and I was going to come to India and give you a clip on the ear.
No. So, but I do think it'll be an entertaining game. And I think Ipswich will take the lead twice during that game.
So you basically just copied me, except you've added an extra goal.
So I didn't copy you though, did I?
I did. Well, you did. I said that Ipswich would take the lead twice. And I said we'd win by 1 goal and score loads of goals. It's basically the same
something
thing.
Else. I think there are going to be 2 VAR decisions.
Oh, I'm not predicting VAR decisions.
One is going to go against us, and one is going to go against Ipswich.
If that actually happens, Nippin, I'll give you like 20 quid.
Okay.
I've never seen someone predict what VAR was going to do for you in a game. I mean, to be fair, now
I've seen people predict. Look, like when it comes to predictions, it's not just the scoreline. Some people predict who the scorers are going to be.
Now you've said this, Nippin, I'm going to go on Bet365, and there's going to be like a whole betting odds on which team's going to have VAR go against them and how many decisions. I'm going to go 1.5 VAR decisions against Chelsea, 5-1.
Have you noticed? I know a lot of Chelsea fans will not want to hear this, but have you noticed how kind, and I say this with quote marks, Anthony Taylor has actually been to us this season?
Yeah, I mean,
like he's been less. He's been a lesser of a see you next Tuesday than a lot of other referees we've had.
I just think maybe it's an aspect of he just knows the pressure he's under and doesn't want to get the hate.
He seemed like one of those referees who don't give a shit about whether he gets hate or not.
I think that changed when the Mourinho incident happened.
I think it changed, only not. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to end it now, Matt.
That's fine.
I think we've just covered everything. So before we wrap up, Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me on my Twitter handle that is below. You can find me on Blue Code Project Podcast on Spotify and Apple. You can find me as a guest on Went to Mow Kings Meadow podcast on Spotify and Apple and on Mixler. And then you can find me on the membership section of Chelsea Perspective. Very cheap, very good membership. Videos once or twice a week. Please sign up.
And you can find me on all those socials below. You can also find me as a semi-regular on Worldwide Chels. Usually it's on his watch-alongs. Big up Sadiq. Go and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. You can also find me as I won't even say semi because it's just as and when. As an occasional caller on Football Carnage TV. ran by the Big Six's very own Grizz Khan. And yeah, with that being said, I will be live. I don't know if it'll be me or Matt because of the time zone difference. We'll be live on the 13th of December for the Sixth Sense podcast. So don't miss that. And I shall see you all in the next video. Come on, you Blues.
Big up.